What is up, folks? Eternal Angler here. So I got another great video I have for you guys today. So if you're into using small lures when musky fishing, this video is for you. Basically, there's a lot of great benefits of using small lures when musky fishing. You can cover more ground using smaller baits as a striking 8.0. You can cast this a lot further than big rubbers such as the pounder or Medusa. You're basically not going to fatigue yourself out. If you can cast an 8.0 all day nonstop without any breaks versus like a Medusa or pounder where you're going to have to take, breaks in between, take a lunch break or whatever, you're just not going to cover as much ground versus using a lighter lure such as a striking 8.0. It's just less fatigue on your overall body. So you're basically going to have more stamina casting this lure. You're going to cover more ground. A lot of times you're going to be a lot happier fisherman. But here's the thing, nothing puts in more 50-inch musky than using big rubber. There's a lot of truth to that. But again, getting back to that photo I posted recently, the recent video of doing review of my fluorocarbon line I used, my brother and father caught this 51.5-inch muskie on using the smallest, tiniest bucktail. When they go out trolling, they have bucktails ranging from all different colors. You have to have that if you're a serious muskie fisherman. But another thing you have to have is lures ranging from smaller size, medium size, and super larger size, especially if you're targeting the bigger muskie. But here's the thing with muskie, they're very finicky, and sometimes they're not always going for the bigger prey. Sometimes they have lockjaw. Sometimes they're going for easier targets such as the smaller prey. So you're going to want to have lures ranging from all different sizes. And this gets back to the Robbie and Lee Today's Angler. They put out I want to say 2 or 3 videos out showing, this small lure saved the day. This small jerkbait worked better than a bucktail that day. You're going to have days where these fish just have lockjaw, using big rubber, using bucktails, and sometimes switching down to a smaller lure, even a hard bait, a crankbait, such as striking 8.0, can save the day. And I've showed, one day I went 3 for 6, but because I never upgraded my hooks, I went 3 for 6, but I could have landed 6 muskie at that day. And that one time where I got my net, my Bill Big Kahuna caught on the cleat of my boat, I got so pissed off. Just like I called out that recent fish being a 53-inch muskie, I called out that fish. I'm like, dude, this feels like a 50-inch or maybe a 45. It just felt huge. You can tell by the head shakes. When they do those long body shakes, you can just feel the weight of the fish, and it's just so thrilling. But I knew that what had been at least a 45-inch plus muskie, but because I got the net hooked on the cleat of the boat and I wasn't using really good hooks, I lost that fish. You got to keep the line touching at all times too. So I'm really pissed off that I've lost a lot of muskie over the years, but I've tried different hooks in the 8.0. I could never settle on a good hook that I like. The problem with a lot of these hooks, when we go with a bigger hook or a better hook, they're too heavy, they're too thick. It just throws off the weight of the balance of the lure. And just to show you how important vibration is, I'm very superstitious. I'm very picky when I use what type of willow blade I use. And I've noticed when you use a shallow cup blade, this is a number 10, absolutely monster. It doesn't give off a lot of vibration, but when you use a deep cup willow blade, like the number 8 willow Hildebrand, it has a lot of thump. I mean, it's just foof, 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 foof. And I found out just having a lot of thump when this is spinning in the water, it's vibrating like crazy. I think it's bringing out, again, that lateral line, that sense that a lot of fishermen tended to underestimate over the years previously in history. And now that we're using lures that have a lot more thump, using a deeper cup willow blade or Colorado versus a shallow cup, I think that's important. You want to have a lot of thump to the lure. And I know, again, getting back to using the different hooks I use over the years, they would take away from the vibration of the squarebill crankbait. What makes this lure so unique and so powerful and so effective on muskie is not necessarily the shape of the lure or the color. It's basically the thump, the vibration, the squarebill. That's what I think has attracted these fish. What makes this lure so effective. Comparing this to a round lip crankbait, the squarebill crankbait, it goes boom, 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 thump, thump, thump. It just vibrates a wide, hard-hitting wobble compared to other crankbaits that just drive the muskie nuts. And I think it's bringing out that long lateral line, fifth or sixth sense, whatever they call it. It's an incredible bait, but that I've always had a bad hookup ratio with it. I just kept looking and looking, and finally, just recently, I saw a new brand of hook that appeared on MuskyShop.com. I don't know when they started posting this. Maybe it has been up there the last couple years, but I just recently started noticing it. Was the BKK Spear-21 Super Slick Treble Hooks. And I started reading about this hook, and I'm like, this is interesting. And I'm like, I wanted to find a hook that would work with the 8.0, but I stumbled across this, and I was reading this description. I actually have it here in front of me. Before getting into the description is very enticing. I just want to say in my own description, it's just like, when I read it, I was like, yeah, these are super sharp, they're forged, they're 1X, and they have this special super slick coating, so you don't have to have a super hard hook set to just get that barb and that whole hook into the fish's mouth, such as the muskie. And, knowing muskie, if you know anything about the species, they just have a lot thicker, harder cartilage mouths versus a bass. So it's tough getting that hook in there. And you're going to want to have a really sharp hook to get that, hook in there when you set a hook. But there's times where you're just not ready. You're casting for these fish for 8 hours a day. Sometimes they don't hit till dusk, and by that time you're very fatigued and you're not get a really good hook set when they hit. And sometimes that just happens, and this is what makes this type of brand of treble hook and makes it shine. Is I think the company specifically, if you look up Spear-21 SS hooks on their page, it basically has these hooks, and it basically has a photo of a pike. So I think they've made these super slicks mainly for this reason, to basically target both pike and muskie. And knowing muskie, getting beyond what I just said, a fish at 10,000 casts, you're wearing yourself out. Sometimes they don't hit till dusk. At the end of the day, by that time you're fatigued. You don't get a good hook set, but with even just a lightest hook set, these hooks, because they're super slick, they have a special coating, they're super sharp, and they're forged, and they're only 1X, they're super thin, they get really into that thick cartilage, hard cartilage mouth of these species of this fish, such as the muskie and the pike. So you don't have to have a really hard hook set. But I'm going to read off the description now. When I read the description on MuskyShop.com, I was just like so enticed. I'm like, this is the hook, man. I finally find a good treble hook for the 8.0. And since they're 1X, it's probably not going to, in their forwards, it's probably not going to take away from the vibration. But let's read it off here. BKK Spear-21 SS. The BKK Spear-21 SS is designed to be a high versatile treble hook for various kinds of fishing applications using a light drag setting. The wide range of sizes from 18 to 5/0 allows anglers to match different sizes baits. Cool. So both big size baits, even smaller baits. The combination of round bend and a fine gauge 1X makes penetration quick and deep with very light pressure. Just what I just talked about. You don't even have to have a really hard hook set. In this, the tip of the hook drives right into the fish's mouth, getting that barb deep in so it doesn't come out. Getting back to the description. Besides, the needle sharp hook point and BKK's super slide coating further enhances penetration performance and minimizes piercing resistance. BKK's robust yet elastic carbon steel material, BKK 81WV, helps maintaining the sharpness of the hook even after several strikes. And that's why I noticed after I caught 2 muskie, I felt the tip of the hook. It was still super sharp, and I just like as soon as I put the hooks on, I actually stabbed myself lightly, and I started bleeding. So I'm like, oh, this is the perfect hook. Yeah, I already started bleeding just barely touching the tip of the hook. That's a good sign. And getting back to description, an accurately forged hook shank increases the strength by up to 20%, resulting in a much more durable hook. Furthermore, the moderate length of the hook shank allows the hook to be used on different types of baits, such as swim bait, crankbait, minnow, and topwater baits. Hence, crankbait. Bingo! Found the perfect hook for the 8.0. Now, getting back to 20% stronger. If you've seen a photo of the one striking 8.0 that I posted, I caught like I think it was a 40-inch spotted muskie at the spillway. The hook, that fucker had jumped. The hook was bent out. And, thinking on the lines, having a stronger hook, preventing that hook from bending, well, I could have lost that fish if it bent even a little more. That fish, I want to say, fought better. It fought just differently than the 53-inch. I would say it fought better, but the thing with the 53-inch, it was just stronger. The weight of the fish still, it almost pulled me up, but the way that 40-incher fought was just more aggressive, I'd like to say. It didn't necessarily fight better. It moved a lot more. It jumped, and did a lot more acrobat movements, and just let's leave it at that. But I finally found a really great hook for the Strike King 8.0. And so I bought all types of different sizes, as you see before you, but what I settled on was basically the 1/0. This is the perfect size. It basically mimics the size of the standard, I think they're mustad treble hooks on the stock treble hooks on the 8.0. You can see they're basically the same size, but these, again, they have that special coating, so they make it slide in and get a better hook set when it drives right in the fish's mouth. They're 1X, so they're still pretty thin, but they have that, again, I said special coating, but they're forged too, so they don't bend. But it's a combination of those things that makes this treble hook so perfect for the 8.0. So I have various different sizes here. I wanted to try all types of different sizes, but I also want to have different bigger sizes from some of my other bigger baits I like to use. Maybe replace those if I have a lot of hits and misses, increase my hookup ratio. But I was looking up trying to using either a 2/0 size 1 or this 1/0, and I finally settled on the 1/0. And I basically, again, getting back to what I said, the vibration on these lures. Look at the lip ended up breaking on this just naturally, just from constantly reeling it, casting, reeling it. The vibration, when this lip is causing all the resistance at the water and I'm reeling it, it causes that much tension with time. The lip ends up breaking off. That's how hard this bait hits. So I don't want to mess with that vibration. That's what the muskie are attracted to about this lure. I think that's what they're attracted to. The perch color is just a plus, the shape of it. But that square bill really brings out the senses. I think the lateral line of the musky lunge and even pike from time to time. So I don't want to mess with that vibration. So I want to go with the same size hook, but I just want to, same size hook, same size weight. I don't want to mess with the vibration, but I want to increase the hookup ratio. So now that this hook basically is sharper, has the super slick coating material, they're forged, they're not going to bend. I think I basically did just that. I've increased the hookup ratio with these better hooks, and this is what I highly recommend. If you're basically using bigger bass baits like the 8.0 to target muskie, is change out the treble hooks to these BKK Spear Super Slicks, and I'm telling you, you're gonna increase your hookup ratio and basically put more muskie in the boat. Again, because what sets this apart from other hooks is they're forged, they're light, They actually 1X. They stay super thin, and they use that super slick coating. But they are just super sharp, super tacky. You know you got a good hook when you just, you know, you touching the hooks, the tip of the hooks, and it's just super tacky compared to these stock hooks that come with, and it just a little tacky, but just I can like rub my fingers on it, it's not stopping it. But when I start rubbing my fingers on like this, I'm getting close to bleeding. You can really, it stops as soon as I rub my fingers across. You can tell the difference. Just compare when you buy these hooks. Compare these BKK hooks to the stock hooks by just rubbing your fingers lightly over the tips of the hook, and see how your skin, basically catches them. As like I said, the first time when I see it's just catching it. It's catching that light surface of your skin over your fingers, and it's like pulling on it. It's stopping it. I can't even rub my tips of my fingers over it compared to the standard stock hooks. I think they're mustads on the 8.0. But these hooks are just phenomenal. And this is just to tell you a little bit about the company. Let me bring up the description again. I don't know too much about them, but just I know they've been in the business since 1856. It's a Chinese company, and I suspect that they started making hooks for saltwater fishermen. So if they make saltwater hooks they make treble hooks for saltwater fishermen, it's a serious business. So, but I highly recommend picking up these BKK hooks for the Striking 8.0. But again, for a lot of other bigger bass baits you use for musky fishing, they could even be just standard musky baits that you just want to upgrade the hooks on. These are absolutely incredible. I bought a 4/0, 3/0, and a 5/0 just to show you these monster 5/0s. Take these out real quick, about to wrap up the video. But these are just magnificent, man. Just monstrous. Just show you what they look like real quick. Just a new type of technology you haven't seen before in a hook. And I'm telling you, rubbing your fingers over it, absolutely incredible. And these just feel sharper. They look better than even the standard treble hooks on the bulldogs, the pounders, and those monster Medusas. So I might think about changing these hooks out and using that on the monster Medusa and pounders, just to basically increase my chances of catching muskie, so I can put more muskie in the boat. And it gets also back to, because they use that special coating in their forge, you can keep using these hooks, catching fish over and over again. You don't gotta, basically keep sharpening them. They keep the precision of that sharpness. Again, getting back, check out their webpage. The picture they show of these Spear Super Slicks is catching a really nice sized pike. So I think that's basically what this company has made these for. These Spear-21 Super Slicks is for esox fishing, both pike, muskie, and if you want to call it tiger muskie or the southern pike, esox flav over in Italy and France. Pick up these bad boys. This is a great brand of hooks. Again, increase your hookup ratio of esox, muskie, and pike, and just put more fish in the boat. Anyways, thank you for watching. Eternal Angler out.